The hidden rule killing your team. You walk into the shop on a Monday morning and 3 different jobs have been done 3 different ways. The bay you wanted clean is half clean. The way you wanted that car booked in isn't the way it got booked in. And the job card looks nothing like the way you would have written it up. And your first thought is probably the same one you've had every Monday for about the last 6 months. Why don't they just do it the way I want it done? Now, you already know, and I probably know, what you're about to do. You're going to roll your sleeves up, you're going to step in, and you're going to go fix it yourself. Or you're going to pull someone aside and you'll have the same conversation that you had with them 3 weeks ago about the same standard with the same person. Or maybe you're going to pull someone different in, but it's going to be the same outcome, right? See, here's what most shop owners don't know. The team isn't ignoring your standards. They're just working to their own. And this isn't a team problem, it's a rule problem. And the rule lives inside your head, not theirs. There's a specific reason for that, and it's not what you think. Now, in a moment, I'm going to show you why your team isn't playing one game, they're playing 5. And the simple shift that gets every one of your team members onto the same page. Now, before we go any further, we've got an SOP template. It's the format that we teach inside the engine room that takes the rules you've got for how the shop should run from in your head and puts them onto the wall where the team can actually see them. The link is in the description box below. You can grab them at the end of today's episode. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your shop on this Monday morning. You walk in and you've got 3 jobs that have been done in 3 totally different ways. And the story you're probably telling yourself is the story that almost every auto repair shop owner tells themselves is, my team's just not listening, or they don't care, or if you want it done right, I have to do it myself, says the most overworked, overstressed, underpaid auto repair shop owner every single day of the week. But here's the bit that nobody told you. When a rule only lives inside your head, then the team can't stop and ask. You might think they can, you might wish they would. The reality is that that's not what people do. So when there's no clear rule in front of someone, they don't freeze, they don't put down the spanner and walk out to you or come over to your office and say, hey boss, how do you want this one done? I know sometimes they do, but most of the time they don't. They just keep moving, doing what they think needs to be done in the way they think they know how you want it done. So they have to fill in the blank themselves. And each one substitutes their own version. Let's look at this a little more closely. This is you, this red circle, right? This is what we call the 5 rule books. This is you. It's one owner. And you've got one rule that lives inside your head. The problem is, though, right, there's 5 different versions of your rule book running side by side every single day inside your shop. And here's the catch, right? Every one of the individuals on your team, every one of your team members, they're all trying to do the right thing. Your apprentice, he has a rule book that was taught to him by his old boss. Your senior tech, right? He has a rule that he worked out for himself 20 years. Your service advisor has a rule for herself that makes the calls with the customers go as smoothly as they possibly can. Your office person has a rule that they've built to make sure that the paperwork's kept tidy and nothing gets missed. And your other tech, well, they have a rule to make sure that they don't get found out, to make sure they don't get yelled at or screamed at. And then there's you. You've got all your rules, but you're spending so much of your time wondering why your team's not playing by them. It's the one you've never said out loud. It's the one rule that you assume everybody should just know. And you're looking at here, you're looking at here, you're looking at here, looking at here, and you're just getting frustrated while you watch no one do the things you want done in the way you think you've taught them to do it. So I had one of our engine room members tell me about this last month. He was absolutely furious, borderline about to, well, about to connect one of his fists with someone else's face. He was absolutely furious. This was the third complaint in 3 weeks. There was a car that had gone out without the wheel nuts checked in the way that he wanted them checked. So he called all 3 of his techs into the office at once. He was ready to come down really, really hard. Then he made the mistake of asking each one, well, show me how you checked the wheel nuts. Now, the first one of his techs had a method that he learnt at TAFE. The second one had a method that his old foreman had drilled into him. And the third one, well, he had a method that simply made sense to him. Didn't make sense to the owner, but it made sense to him. So there was 3 different methods, all being used inside the one shop, in one bay, across 1 week. And here's the real deal, of course, not one of them was the method that the owner thought he was paying them for. So here's what that owner realised in that office. He'd never told them what the rule was. He'd shown them once, he'd corrected another one on more than one occasion, but the standard, the actual rule, this is how we do this, it had never left his head. So the team did what every team does when the rule is missing, and they each played the game by their own rule, because that's the way they thought they would help the owner to win. Each one thought he was doing what his boss wanted. Listen to that again. Each one thought he was doing what the boss wanted. And that gap between what your team thinks you want and what you really want is exactly where your frustration happens. The gap is the hidden rule, and it's absolutely killing your team. So, how do you actually fix it? So, a rule isn't a rule until it's shared, till it's out of your head and it's in the shop. And there are 3 rungs to get there, right? So rung number 1 is that the rule becomes visible. It's written down. It's super clear. Usually no more than 1 sentence. You put it on the wall, not in a folder, not in a doc that nobody opens, not on the back of a job card, right? It goes on the wall where every one of your team can see it every time they walk past it. Visible means anyone could walk into your shop and find the standard in under a minute. If they can't, it's still in your head. So visible means your team has eyeballs on it. Rung number 2 is taught. Writing it down isn't enough. Words on a wall aren't the standard. You have to demonstrate it, right? Your team needs to see what you want and do it, to feel it, to experience it, what they want, right? So you walk the team through what right looks like, what finished looks like, what done actually involves. You show them a job that meets your standard, and then show them a job that doesn't. Show them what the path to failure is. Show them what incorrect, incomplete, under not to standard actually is. And most shop owners skip that rung. They show the team what good looks like. They forget to give them the contrast of what not good looks like. So they write the rule up, they get cross when nobody follows it, but they never actually showed anyone what good and not good looks like. And you can't expect a team to hit a standard that you've described in only 2 sentences. You have to show it to them, because taught, visible, brings in eyes. Taught adds ears. But rung 3 is the key. Rung 3 is when the standard is agreed. All too often, auto repair shop owners miss this one completely. The team has to agree to what your standard is after having seen what good looks like and what not good looks like. It's not just nodding at it. They're not just rolling their eyes at it. They're not just looking sideways and going like, here we go again. They have to sign the standard. They have to initial it, right? They have to walk and talk it back to you in your words, because until the team agrees, it's still your preference. But the moment they sign it, it becomes the shop's standard. So now agreed, we get eyes plus ears plus hands. When they sign it, they've said, yes, that's the standard I'm now committing to. That's the shift. It doesn't, it goes from being something like, well, Dean wants the bench wiped down, to this is how we leave the bay at the end of a job in this shop, in this workplace. From your preference to our team standards. Now, this is where one of our frameworks comes in. Process plus performance equals profit. You can't have process live if it's only inside your head. And you can't have true team performance if the team is working to 5 different standards. It's impossible. And you can't have profit, the best profit, optimized profit, if every job that goes out costs you as the owner an hour of rework, or 20 minutes on phone to apologize for work that didn't meet your standard, didn't hit the quality that your customer has come to expect. The process is the rule, the performance is the team hitting it. And the profit is what shows up at the end of the month when the shop stops running on guesses. But every part of that equation starts on that wall, right? I'll give you a real one. We had another one of our engine room members. Same problems you've probably had. Cars going out clean by some techs, cars going out average from others, cars going out with a white dashboard, and vacuumed matte by one tech only. It was the tech that had been there for about 10 years. So the owner, our engine room member, sat down by themselves one Sunday afternoon and just wrote one rule. This was the rule. I'll read it. Every car leaves with the dashboard wiped, the floor mats vacuumed, and the seat reset to where the customer was sitting. That's one sentence. He put it on the wall on Monday. He walked the team through it. He showed them a car that had had it done right, and he showed them a car where it hadn't been. He showed them what good looked like. He showed them what not good like. And he asked the team to sign the standard at the bottom. And by Friday, every car was going out the same way. Dashboard wiped, car mats vacuumed, seat moved back to where the customer had it. Because it's the little things that surprise and delight your customers that set you apart from the bloke down the road that's cheaper. 2 weeks later, customer reviews started landing in his inbox, saying things like, best service we've ever had. They even put my seat back where it was. That's a hidden rule that's moving out of the owner's head, and it's becoming a shared rule that's going into the performance of the team in his shop. That is the shift that we want you to make. So now you've seen the move, right? Visible, taught, agreed. Eyes, ears, and hands. In a minute, I'm going to give you 3 questions to help you figure out which rule in your shop you should be writing down first. But remember, I talked about that SOP template that we hand out to our in-room members to help them get the rules out of their heads and in front into the eyes, the ears, and the hands of their team. You can get it from the link below. Pick one rule, write it up. That's your first standard that comes out of your head and onto the wall. Here's the anchor that I want you to lock in place from today's episode. Your team cannot perform to a standard they cannot see. Your team can't perform to a standard they can't see. That's it. That is your one line. It's the write it down. It's the take with you from this episode. Everything we just talked about is in that one sentence. If the standard is in your head, they can't hit it. If you've never written it down, they can't read it. If you've never taught it, they can't copy it. If they've never agreed to it, physically, with pen, sign, put their initials to it, it's not their standard yet, it's still yours. Here's 3 questions. Ask yourself right now. First one, what did you get frustrated at this week? Or what did you get frustrated about this week? And have you ever actually told your team what right looks like? Pick the most recent thing that wound you up, right? The bay that wasn't clean, the customer who got booked in wrong, the job card that came back half filled, right? Now ask yourself this. Have you ever sat down with the team and shown them what the right version looks like? Not just in passing, not just out of complete frustration. Have you done a training night? Have you created? Have you got the rule written down? Have you got them to sign it? Right? Have you got them to show you what you just showed them and describe it back to you in your words with the steps so you can find out where the gaps were? Or have you simply just been furious every time it happens? And on the 3rd time it happens, you just tell them the same thing, but louder. And I get that right now that little voice in your head might be saying, yeah, but I've done all that and they still won't change. Then it's a totally different conversation with that technician about how it might not be the right environment for them to remain as part of your team. Second question. If I pulled 5 people from your business into separate rooms and I asked each one of them to describe to me how a job should be booked in, how many different answers would I get? Be honest. It's okay. Most owners know the answers almost immediately. Is it going to be 5 different answers from 5 different people? Possibly. But if I was a betting man, I'm going to say I'm probably going to get at least 3 different versions of how this job is meant to be booked in. That's the 5 rule books. That's the five different methods, the 5 different standards in real time coming out of your team from their mouths. You don't need to imagine it. You and I both know it's probably already happening. And third question, just pick one rule, right? Just one. The one that costs you the most when the rule gets broken. Could you write it down in one clear sentence on the wall by Friday, right? If you could, then that's your first SOP. That's your first move to go from rules that are hidden inside your head to rules that are shared with your team. Remember, we just got to start at visible, then we move to taught, and then we get that rule agreed to by the team. That's the first piece of your operating system for your shop. Do it once and you've started. Do it once a fortnight, and inside a year you've built a shop that runs on standards instead of having to rely on you. That's what we work on inside the engine room every single day. It's not motivation, it's not theory. It's the operating system of a shop that doesn't need you to be there every single day of the year. So, if your rules live inside your head, it's a preference. You want it done that way, but your team doesn't know you want it done that way. If the rule lives on a wall, it's a standard. Hidden rules make tired shop owners. Because you're consistently having to go around and restate the rules, remind your team of the rules. I don't mean to laugh, but if I had $1 for every time I'd spoken to a burnt out, tired, overwhelmed auto repair shop owner saying, I just want my team to do it this way. And we ask, well, do they know the rules? Yeah, I've told them once. Anyway, you get the story. Hidden rules make tired owners. Shared rules make great auto repair shops. It is that simple. Is it easy? No, you got to put some effort in. You got to put some work in, but it is well worth it, especially when you're hanging off the back of the boat, reeling in a wonderful fish while your team is taking care of the business to your rules, to your standards. The only way you're going to win is by having all of your team playing by the same rules. So, if this episode has you thinking differently about your auto repair shop and you'd like to find out how we help auto repair shop owners build one shop that runs off one set of rules, then you can click the links in the description below. There's no pressure. There's no sales calls. You're not suddenly going to get you're not suddenly going to get a phone call you didn't ask for from a person you don't know. You're just going to get some clear information that you can have a read through, have a look through to work out if now is the right time, and maybe us here at the Workshop Whisperer might be the right fit to give you some help with your auto repair business. And I'll see you on the next episode of the A Grade Auto Repair Shop Show.